the freakiest podcaster on the internet, No Jumper. They say he got into a fight at the Brand Risk Aiden Ross event and his career is on an epic downfall. Y'all know Adam22 has been taking advantage of the hood in rap and hip hop culture for so long. He finally got in the ring. He's fighting some dude who got black trunks on. I think this is a dude who smashed his wife. You gotta do your research on fighting a dude who smashed your wife. So we gotta see how this fight went and see, is this the end of Adam22?
Man, I can't even recognize the world we live in. Growing up, I thought we'd have flying cars by the year 2026. But instead, we have a once great podcaster out here getting beat up by the dude who he let pipe his wife on 2 separate occasions. Bro didn't even put up a fight. Bro straight up volunteered his body for permanent placement to the cuckold chair at this point. If you haven't been paying attention to the kick stream littered with gambling ads and crash out individuals, then you probably missed the 30-second fight on Aiden Ross's stream between Adam22 and male porn star Jason Love.
Damn, he lost in 30 seconds? This nigga wife lasted longer than him.
The fight ended in a TKO. I believe there's a broader problem here on the line. Bro has reached a level of cuckoldry where there is simply no return. This might be the signal of the end of No Jumper as a whole. And as members of the rap media, we gotta document how this shit even got to this point right now, where the humiliation ritual could literally mark the end of Adam22's career. We're gonna get into it right now, but before we do, gang, I'm gonna need you to do something for me. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so whenever I post, y'all tune in. And make sure to hit that hype button to run this shit the fuck up. Man, let's get into this with chapter 1. Many fans might be too young to remember, but No Jumper's brand used to be a staple of the underground world. From groundbreaking interviews with rising artists like XXXTentacion or incredible interviews with Draco the Ruler first out of jail, to rare interviews with Lil Peep and Lil Tracy. This platform at one point was really a tastemaker for the underground, as well as being one of the first platforms to create a brand exposing underground rappers to the mainstream. At one point, 100%. It seemed like they were the kingmakers of the rap scene. On top of this, they had a store off Melrose called On Some Shit that late millennials and early Gen Zers would pull up and try to find their way to get clout in the LA rap scene. They played a major role in the growth of many LA artists like Shoreline Mafia and Stink Team, or even podcast characters like Cam Girl, Lil House Phone, Blazzy, Crip Mac, 80, Brick Baby, T-Rail, Lush, and more. They were the first platform to really start live shows on YouTube, which became like a precursor to how Twitch streamers would stream today. They were truly ahead of their time in the media landscape, creating an Instagram page to farm engagement while doing crazy vlogs and sponsoring tours. Even as the original host left because of the treatment or just wanting to split their ways, it seemed like the No Jumper brand was one of the strongest on the internet. This long streak 100%. Would continue with the golden years, starting with a groundbreaking interview with XXXTentacion and Ski Master Slump God in 2016, an interview with Ian Connor in his heyday, and various interviews that introduced the world to some of the biggest tastemakers in pop culture. However, as the platform grew, it seemed like changes in the internet and changes in the rap scene eventually caused a major shift with warning signs on the horizon, and that's where we get into the crazy shit that was going on in chapter 2, where things go left. Things were all gravy from like 2016 to 2019. Sure, there were hosts dropping out to pursue different shit, but for the most part, there really wasn't a shortage of people to interview. Signs of trouble were brewing. People began looking back at the tour that No Jumper hosted with Lil Pump back in the day, who was a minor, and at that time with Smoke Perp, and thought it was weird that Adam was almost 40 years old, sharing a Sprinter with kids while encouraging them to smash groupies and do drugs.
You know, this nigga's a weirdo. I'm not gonna lie, I know he fits well in LA. Like, you get some power and you're a weirdo in LA, you gonna end up like Adam here. So he's 40 years old. He got a bunch of 16-year-olds just riding with him. They up and coming artists. He kind of like put them in the game. But this game could get weird as hell very quickly.
Xanax because we're smoking cigarettes. Well, I'm smoking cigarettes.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That van
15-hour
smells
drive.
terrible.
Yeah, we're off the Xanax. Sometimes when you're hanging out with guys like Lil Pump and Smoke Perp, you feel very triggered to take Xanax.
Yeah.
And right now would be one of those times. I didn't do it yesterday, but now they're taking them.
Literally everybody except me and Adam is on
And
Xanax.
I'm kind of tempted to do it right now, but I have a fucking interview later, so I'm not gonna do it.
What, take Xanax?
Yeah.
You should take Xanax.
Shout out Migos, you know what I'm saying? They brought out culture, but me and Pump bringing out the Zan culture.
On top of that, No Jumper lost a record deal with Atlantic due to sexual allegations against his founder, Adam22. Finally, one of the major strikes that put this platform down even further was when the pandemic hit. Gavin Newsom shut down much of LA, and the On Some Shit store eventually closed down, and the podcast was more focused at a centralized warehouse. This probably had an effect of people not wanting to pull into the store and actually vibe. You might expect No Jumper took a hit, but it seems that losing that overhead and Adam's exploits into the porn world actually created more revenue streams and less money to spend on a store. Combine that with the rising viewership, the pandemic was actually a goldmine for anyone who was doing YouTube at that time. Nobody had shit to do but watch YouTube, so generally Adam found a golden era and a great time. He used this to hire his security AD and other gang members to fill in for live shows and created an LA-centric show. He was even able to interview crazy rappers like Draco after he got out of jail. Things were looking good. And as the pandemic went down, he tried reopening the store on Melrose and eventually opening a bigger warehouse. However, this gamble would leave him down bad. And this is where shit hits the fan in chapter 3. Around that time, it was revealed that most of his hosts that were actually bringing attention to the live shows like ADT and Duno would quit in 2023 to work on their own shit because they felt they weren't getting paid enough. That left a huge hole, and Adam was never really able to replace that. And for the first time, you see he was kind of running out of people to interview. Luckily, other cities had buzzing drill scenes, so we still had interviews with Chicago rappers and St. Louis rappers, and rappers that were all over still hot from like 2023 to 2025. However, he faced a major issue. After interviewing the main rappers, you know, like Bloodhound Q50 or YG Fatso, a lot of rappers that were just like drilling and really gang members, like members of FBG, a lot of them began dying. In fact, a lot of the people that he
catching these niggas right before they die. They pulling up from the. We watched a video like a couple months ago. They said that they pulling up. He don't even pay these folks. He get them a one-way flight, fly them out, give them a little promo on his page with all the subs, and then send their ass back to the trenches. So I wouldn't be surprised that you got popped. The whole world just saw you, but you overly local with the way you move it. You get what I'm saying though? You can only do that for so much time. And it's like you on a time clock when you live in certain places. They in their 30s and 40s and shit. Nigga, you'd have made it a lot of years. You know.
Interviewed would end up dying or just in general crash out or get lengthy jail sentences or just didn't come back for second interviews because they already had one, which left him interviewing crackheads, 304s, and random gangbangers that he could find on the street.
Half of the hosts of the show are consistently too
Hold on, y'all gotta understand. I'm doing research. I'm gonna do the same shit, but I'm gonna do it like the way a real one would. Let me hear.
Or as a random gangbangers that he could find because they already had one, which left him interviewing crackheads, 304s, and random gangbangers that he could find on the street.
Half of the hosts of the show are consistently too up to conversate. Munchie can't not make about him. Yes, Munchie. We should probably talk about this because you have kind of
hey, hold on,
a little rough this episode.
Let's make it about me right now.
Yeah.
What have I made about me though?
You're way too drunk and you just keep talking about your own.
Well, hold on.
We're talking about like topics and then you just start babbling. I dare you to watch this podcast back. I fucking you won't do it. Don't stop touching me. Stop it. Stop poking me. What the f is this? Get your.
However, slowly but surely, he began running out of fire interviewees, and he had to turn to the porn scene that he sort of had, but he really turned it into a production. But unfortunately, the cost of the warehouse apparently was too crazy, and bills had to be paid, and tough decisions had to be made. So I guess bruh decided now was the time to let someone fuck his wife on the internet. I guess it was all fine and dandy. They shared girls together for like years, but at some point, everyone knew that she had to get her own chance. So in 2023, their first video broke the internet. Yes, as a hip-hop host, it's kind of hard to go back from that. Bro, like you really let the whole world see your wife get piped by a random black dude.
I ain't gonna lie. Any nigga get on the podcast after that, I would not let him press me. I mean, he just like, he cucked himself out. He marked himself out in a culture where let somebody have some leverage on you. First thing we finna do is, where your wife at? You try and ask me about some federal stuff. I'm gonna get to ask you about your wife. Cause he just put it out like it's content. Like some people, that's the thing, bro. Some people in LA be so far into content, bro, that there is officially no longer a barrier between content and real life. They be like kind of confused. It's like, where's this guy from? He's from like the middle of nowhere. He moved to a bigger place, and now he's like sold his soul. Like, you don't sign a contract when you sell your soul, but you do. It's like you kind of give your life away, and then you forget who you once was.
This was the beginning of the end. He even hosted a cuck reality show.
My name is Adam22, and I co-own Plug Talk with my lovely wife. We interview a different girl every week.
And then we them at the end. But we've only ever done it with other women.
So we've arranged this whole challenge to find the perfect guy to be our first ever boy-boy-girl threesome.
Where various porn stars fought over fucking Lena, which she was then piped by another porn star named Lil D. She then, over the last year, filmed 2 more separate scenes with other porn stars before filming another one with Jason Love again. I'm not really sure how you can come back from this, and now that the shock factor's gone, I doubt people want to see her get piped a 3rd time, but maybe people will tune in. So the natural reaction was the saddest part of this cuck shit. A boxing match hosted by Aiden Ross with commentary from Rampage Jackson and other miscreants like Clavicular. Brunt really stooped down to the saddest level imaginable and decided to fight Jason Love. In the process, receiving cuck taunts like his wife basically jeering on Jason and just in general ruining his image. Gang, this is like just
bro. This is he just has been a fan of the struggle. He got the tattoos to be a fan. He forgot he never been in a fight before. He got the tattoos. He got the clout. He got the fight. He got the gang members around him. He forgetting he's not the gang member. We will whoop your ass. So he get in that ring against. Think about what the dude who had to sell his, you know, online. Think about how much other stuff he done been through. He probably didn't use his fist more times than you could count. You get what I'm saying? Ain't none of the internet stuff for this. You gonna get in the ring with him after he already smashed your wife? This is weird. Like, come on, bro. Let me see the fight.
Jason Love. In the process, receiving cuck taunts like his wife basically jeering on Jason and just in general ruining his image. Gang, this is just embarrassing because we gotta get into the results of the next chapter because the fight did not last long. So we gotta get into the results.
What's wrong with this nigga, folks?
After a much built-up event with DJ Academics, DJ Vlad, Aiden Ross, and more in attendance, hosting the apparent bout of the century, a cuck versus the cucky with the wife in attendance. I feel bad for anyone who literally spent money and the whole production crew because this fight legit lasted less than a minute. With Adam getting his ass beat in a TKO and not really fighting back Jason Love at all. Bro was talking hella shit, getting offended when his wife was saying he made her squirt, all this other shit, but couldn't even make it past the first round. Gang.
Damn, he made your wife squirt. Your wife went rounds and then you couldn't make it past the first round, freaky man. Come on, bro. This
the latest example of the media landscape is going all the way downhill. I don't think you can pimp your wife out and then fight a celebrity boxing match because things are going well. Obviously, if you need to do this, you're looking for any dollar you can. I guess that's why I made this video to help out. I was once employed at No Jumper, and I might as well put this out in the algorithm so it's worth something, you know? But at the same time, gang, it's like, have some respect, bro, because this shit is getting out of hand. Where do you go next after letting someone pipe your wife? Then you get your ass beat by the person doing it. He's going to find a new level up, I'm assuming, because I guess the interviews aren't cutting it. The porn might not be cutting it. There's just something else that he's probably going to have to come up with because obviously, if the interviews were doing well, then bro would not be doing this crazy funky shit. So it just goes without saying. Obviously, there's a problem at No Jumper. And this might just be the downfall because I don't really know him. My biggest thing is, back in the day, he was getting all these big-ass rappers and shit like that were underground, not big enough to be on, like, you know, like Apple interviews or, like, real big platforms, and this was their first interview. But now, seeing all the freaky shit that be going on, like, you're gonna have to find a real freakazoid that's into this type of shit to really interview. And it's like half the niggas that be interviewing be asking to pipe his wife, bruh. It's at the point where it's like you can't even be embarrassed because you put this out into the world. But hey, Let me know in the comments what y'all think about this whole situation. Do you think that he can bounce back? Or do you think this is further putting him in the cuck chair and he's literally glued to that shit, man? But hey, let me know what...
We over with, man. I guess you could get... I guess his wife up for grabs after the business. I thought no jumper... That's ridiculous. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to make some money.